Hello, this is Pamela, and you are on Pamela's Adoring Crochet channel. And today's video that I would like to do a crochet pattern for is for the kitchen towel holder. Here's the front, here's the back, has a little button on it, has a ring. When you unbutton it, there you are. And this just slips over the stove handle, and then you just button it closed. If you want a towel in it, you just put your kitchen towel in it like this right here, and then there you are. Okay, to make this project, you are going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a yarn needle. You're going to need a stitch row counter. You're going to need a 2.5 inch plastic ring. And you're going to need a H 5.0 millimeter hook. The yarn I chose happens to be Red Heart Super Saver, but it just needs to be a 4 millimeter, a medium 4-weight yarn. And this is the color I chose to do today's video in. Okay, so let's get started on this. First of all, you're going to, I guess it'd be called single crochet all the way around the ring. And I like to take and leave a little bit of tail and crochet it in as I'm working around the ring. I'm going to get you started here. Just like this. And you see I'm working that tail in as I go around. And I straighten this up too. I like to keep that straight as I go. And also try to stay close to your stitches. If you see you're getting kind of sort of spread out some, then just take and tighten that up. And I like to pull this as I go too, because I want to keep it nice and tight down there at the end. So you just keep crocheting around the ring. Like that right there. All right, I will meet you back when we get all the way to the end here. I am now at the end. You can see where I'm at the end. And just make sure that they're not too tight, but they're not where you have a lot of space between them either. You're going to slip stitch into this stitch right here. And you're going to chain one. Now you're going to work a single crochet in that same stitch. You're going to have 8 single crochet going across the top here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 single crochet across the top. That is row 1. You're going to chain 1, turn, and you're going to work 8 single crochet across the next row. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was row 2. Chain 1, and you're going to turn. You notice I keep doing mine, pulling it. I like to keep it nice and even across here. So you're going to do this up to row 15. So I will meet you back when you get to row 15. Okay, we are back. We just finished row 15. What you're going to do after row 15 is you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to work a single crochet in that same stitch that you did a chain 1, and then 3 more single crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Now what we're doing now is we're working one side of the buttonhole. So let's reset our counter, because we're going to do 5 rows of this. So that was row 1 we just did. Chain 1, turn. You're going to work 4 single crochet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, turn. That was row 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was row 3. Chain 1, turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, turn. And on this last row, you're not going to chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 5 rows you just completed. Now we're going to reset this because we're going to have to do 5 rows here again in a second. Now what you're going to do on this is you're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to turn your work. You're going to work 8 single crochets across the front. So your first one is going to start in the second chain from the hook. You're just working in the chain for the first 4 stitches, or the first 4 single crochets. So that's 1, and try to keep your chain straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 in that chain 5 that you just did. Now your next 4 are going to be across these single crochets. So that was 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn, and it should be looking like this right here, like that. You're fixing to do 8 single crochets across the top here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now here's what you have. That's it right there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to work our way up this chain, and we're going to start going across, back and forth like that. So we got to get there, we got to work our way up. So we're going to do 2 slip stitches. There's a space right here in between the 2 rows. I usually just insert my hook there, pull the yarn, and do a slip stitch right there. And then for the next one, I go into that top space right here. Just insert my hook, pull the yarn, and pull it through like a slip stitch. And this is what you have now. So now you're up there. So now you got to do a chain 1, and you're going to work 4 single crochets across. And the first one will be in the same stitch that you just did the chain 1 in. That would be your first single crochet. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That was the first row. Remember, we got to do 5 rows. So chain 1, turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1, turn. That was our second row. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1, turn. That's our third row. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1, turn. That's our fourth row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we've done 5 rows. So we should be even with the other side now. That's how it's going to look, and then there's your buttonhole. You're going to attach this right here to this row right there with your yarn needle, and then you'll have an opening right there for your button to go through. So leave you a little bit of a tail there, cut it off. And use your yarn needle. Like, I'm a seamstress, so I tend to like the metal needles, which they're harder to use. Most people prefer the plastic, but it's just hard for me to do the plastic since I'm a seamstress. So anyway, okay, what I do on this one, we're going to attach this right here to these two together. And to start off, I usually, to make mine nice and neat, I usually insert my needle underneath that first one right there. I usually insert it underneath there. That way it's not really visible. So there we go. And then I just sew back and forth between matching these up. Just like this. See how good that looks? You can't even tell it's stitched in there. And then since there is a tad bit of a little gap right there, when you turn it over to the back side, I take, since we got to tie it off anyway, I take my yarn needle and I go through both, grabbing both of them, tighten, and that pulls it together right there. You don't have to do it that way. That's just the way I do it. So just pull through, and then I'd usually do it one more time to make sure it don't come out. There we go. And just cut off your yarn. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to single crochet all the way around the edging. And you will want to do it on the back side. And how you can tell, the front side, they come up. If you turn it over, that stitching right there kind of lays down. That's your back side. And I'll show you why you want to do it. Why you want your single crochet to be started on the back side and not the front. See how pretty this looks right here? If you did it on the front side started, it would look like that versus nice and pretty like that. So we are going to do the back side. Once again, like I said, the front, they kind of goes up, and the back, they go down. So we're just going to single crochet around. When you get to the corners, I work 2 single crochets in the corners. I do not count my stitches on this. In my tail, I always crochet it in as I go, just so I don't have to tie it off later. And that's just a preference of mine. So you just work a single crochet all the way up the side of this towel holder. Just like this. You do not have to count. If one side has a stitch more than the other, I don't think it's going to be noticed. I've never counted to see if one side is more than the other. And then we're almost to the corner. But that's what it's looking like right now. Alright, when we get to that corner, we're just going to work 2 single crochets in the corner space. We're going to single crochet across the front. And in our last space right there, we're going to work 2 single crochet in that space. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet all the way down. And then to kind of give you an idea of what it's looking like. Just to let you know that when you choose your colors and stuff, you don't always have to have solid. I've done these where I had one color as the towel holder part, and then I had my edging in an opposite color, and then my button in a color that matched the edging, and they are really pretty that way. Now when I get down to the end, a lot of times I will take my thumb and go through the opening just to help finish single crocheting this last bit, and because it's kind of awkward when you get down into that part. So you may want to hold it, find it's easier to hold it like that or not. That's up to you, but that's just the way that I do it. So just continue single crocheting till you get to the end. Okay, now when you get to the end there, you want to leave a little bit of a tail because you've got to tie it off, weave it in. Alright, get your yarn needle and thread your yarn needle. And I always go like the stitch like where the ring is, like that. Turn it over, weave it in. Now what I do after I do my first weave, I pull it kind of tight, and then I take my thumbs and I just kind of stretch it out before I do my second pass through with my weave. That way it's nice and straight across there, and one side is not dented in. And then you just go back through, now that you've got it stretched out to where you want it. Okay, you just cut that off. Now we are, oh, and see how the difference is? See, there's the back side and there's the front. And when you turn it over, see, you have that nice pretty stitching on the front side. All right, now we're going to make the button. On the button, we're going to be working mostly in the round. So I'm going to start with a magic ring. You're going to use that same H hook. Just put your needle, your hook through there, grab that one that you wrapped over, and then grab it again and enter that like that. That's the best I know how to describe do a magic ring. So you're going to work 6 single crochet in the ring. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you're going to pull to tighten, and now you will insert your hook in that first, chain 1, and I like to grab my yarn, by the way, that's hanging on the end, so that I don't have to tie it in later. I just work it as I work around. Okay, so chain 1. You're going to have 2 single crochet all the way around in each single space chain or stitch. So you will have 12 single crochets. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now from this point, you will be working in the round. You're going to work 36 single crochet, and you're just going to keep going around. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. At this point, you can turn it inside out if you want to. That's up to you. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. If you are working with a little bit of a thinner yarn than this Red Heart is, you could go more than 36. But leave a long tail because you're going to pull this all together. So leave your long tail. Pull that through and tighten that. Get your yarn needle. We're going to thread the yarn needle again. There was a thread out. Try that again. There we go. Okay. You're going to weave your needle all the way around. So just weave it in and out. Okay, now you're going to pull to tighten like this. And I take my yarn and take my needle, go to the other side, and I just pull it through like that, and then that kind of tightens that up right there, closes it up rather. Now turn it to the front, and you will need to shape your little button. Just kind of squish it around with your fingers, flatten it out, get it shaped where it's round. And then here's the back side. And then there's the front side. Now what you're going to do is you're going to attach this to the kitchen towel holder, but you're going to attach it only in that little middle circle. Do not do it around anywhere else. It just has to be in the middle circle. Because if you don't, you won't be able to get this around it if you tighten it somewhere else. And what I do is there's this little row right here. I always start like right above that row. See, I lay it down just like that. Centered, of course. Got to make sure you got it centered. And just put your needle through. And then just sew that, use both your fingers, hold it on there, and just sew around that little circle. Just like this. Okay, now you've got it on. Turn it over, and you've got to tie tighten that off, pull it. I usually pass this through twice. And you're going to cut your yarn. And then there we are. So now you just do your button just like that. And now you've got a kitchen towel holder. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and hope to see you again for another one. Thank you very much.